Good Sunday morning, and welcome to another edition of the Sideline Junkies Sunday Rise. Week 6 of the NFL. You got the Swamp Queen Lady C, the Midnight Rider Ben, and of course me, the big guy KG. How's everybody doing this morning?
I'm doing good, man. Slow morning, man. Behind schedule on everything.
Lady C?
She the victim of the mute button? Mute button? Mute button.
Defeated by it.
The reigning, defending. What is she doing?
I don't know, but she keep putting herself on mute.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2.
It's rough. Testing, 2, 2, 5. Can we hear me? We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
It's a rough day. It is a rough Sunday. It's
already.
rough today.
Well, it
I
just got rough.
before my time.
And that's a heartbreaker right there. It also has been a rough weekend for the Commanders with everything going on. Now Wentz is out 4 to 6 weeks, or 4 to 5 weeks, 4 to 6. Broken ring finger on his throwing hand. And the first question I had, was it legit? And the Midnight Rider said, yeah, he saw it. So I take his word for it. Does Heinicke lead us to the promised land and lead us to some wins? Start with the Midnight Rider and we'll finish up with Lady C.
Does Heinicke lead us to wins? I don't know. But I know he's the answer for this segment, because this is why you keep this kid, or you have him in place, and you don't go run into Sam Howell. Now, the kicker could be, if this is disastrous 4 to 6 weeks, you never see Carson Wentz again, because then you play Howell play out the stretch. The best case scenario is Heinicke goes 4-2. He played well against Green Bay last year. He got another winnable game in Indianapolis. So he can put them in position to possibly be 6-6, 5-7 going into the last stretch of the season. And at that point, you have to really decide, do you go back to Wentz or do you stay with Heinicke? That becomes the bigger question to me of this stretch than anything else, is what happens next. Lady C?
I definitely think Heinicke should step up to the plate with this one. The kid is good. Like, both of them are, I would say Wentz and Heinicke are pretty much at the same playing level. Even though the tenure is a little different, but I would put them both at the same level. So I don't think it's going to be a big difference between Wentz at the helm or Heinicke at the helm. Ready to see it, but I definitely think it should be Heinicke over Howell. Just with GP, like Heinicke, he's got this. Like, he's used to that pressure, so Heinicke could pull this off. Now, when Wentz is healthy again, does Heinicke take that back seat, or do we let Heinicke play a couple of more to see where it goes? That would be a big game changer for you guys to explore those options.
Well, I think that feeds right back into what KG was talking about. Is, I think part of the question is, Carson Wentz has an incentive that if he plays 70% of the snaps, we take our pick from being a third-round pick to a second-round pick. So do you really want to risk that in that scenario and him actually qualifying for that if you're struggling or whatever? So go ahead, KG. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, that's absolutely right. And Lady C, you said something. You said something about Heinicke being ready for the pressure already, because he's done it before. And I agree, because Heinicke knows how to prepare, and I'm sure he prepares every week as if he's going to start. And sometimes you have to sit down and take a look back at your situation to get a better idea of it. Now, him being thrust into the starting quarterback position, it was overwhelming. He played well, but not good enough. Almost beat Tom Brady. And that's what everybody say. Well, he almost beat Tom Brady. Yeah, he did. You know, and the dude's got heart. I just need him to stay healthy. That's what I need him to do. And he looks like he's a very healthy guy. I just don't need him to try to do entirely too much. Because if he tries to do too much, that's when the wheels fall off. Make your plays, do what you can. So, and if Heineke plays well and Wentz is back healthy, Wentz can't lose the starting job while he's injured. You can't. I mean, that's football 101. It's happened.
Okay.
But that's football 101. You're not supposed to lose your starting job because you're injured. You lose your starting job because of your play.
But then wouldn't that put it in question still then?
Well,
because the last game he threw for 99 yards, and the game before that he threw under 150.
And if you look at Wentz, his statistics overall, he ain't having a pass.
The first 3 weeks.
Huh?
The first 3 weeks he made out like a fat cat.
Yeah, and the last 2 it's been mediocre, pedestrian at best.
Mm-hmm.
But his stat line, it has not been bad at all. You know, and I said it yesterday in our chat. If you look at Wentz's stats, you would think Washington is 4-1, 5-1 because of how they're moving, but they're not. They're 2-4.
But so, it's because of the roller coaster. It's the highs and the lows. It's the smiles and the cries.
That's because 1 minute he's like exactly what Ben's saying. Like, is Wentz. Like, he comes out being Wentz and then he drops being Wentz. Like, what the hell? Wentz he came, Wentz he saw.
Oh Lord.
She's starting this morning.
Yeah.
I got my coffee, baby. Don't come for me. I got my coffee.
Well, we'll see how this transpires come next week. I believe next week is Green Bay at home.
Yep.
So we got Heineke, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure Sharon is going to take Aaron flipping Rodgers next week.
Aaron Rodgers, yes.
So we'll see how that turns out. Our next topic for the morning, Christian McCaffrey, C-Mac. Been talked about when trade proposed. I've heard him going to Buffalo. I've heard him going to Green Bay. I've heard him going so many different places. And I'll start with you, Lady C. Where is a good landing spot for Christian McCaffrey? And if you are that team's GM, are you giving up a first-round pick to get C-Mac?
First of all, no. I'm not giving up my first-round pick for C-Mac. That's I would want someone as a GM. I would want someone who's more fresh. Not to say that C-Mac is on his way out the door, but I want someone with fresh that's more fresh. Period. Where should he go? He could really fit well with any team. That's a good one. Like, I would see him. I don't know. I can't.
Hey, KG, what's that list of the 5 teams? Do you have that?
Yeah, what's his?
No, I didn't even know it was a list of 5 teams. I heard him going everywhere. I heard rumors of him going to. No, I know Buffalo was one.
All 32, like 31. He's not hitting all all of those. Like, he has a list.
I got
a short list.
I got it. It's Bills, 49ers, Rams, and Broncos are the ones that have shown interest. And this is all for Bleacher Report.
I think the Broncos could really use that help because as much as I love Russ, he ain't doing too good out there. So I really think that the Broncos could he'd be a great asset with the Broncos nation. I'll have to take that.
Broncos country. Broncos country. Please don't have him come after you. Broncos country.
Whatever. I can twerk better than Sierra. I stave him off.
Let's ride.
So I got him going to the Rams. I think that's going to be the best option for him. The Rams are probably going to move on from Cam Akers at some point in the next 48 to 72 hours. I mean, the man supposedly is at home, and they just told him to go stay home. So he's definitely getting traded. So you got to replace him with somebody else. If I had to go number 2, I think Buffalo would be option 2 because of familiarity, because of him being in Carolina. And Sean McDermott and company are from Carolina. Maybe they'll do a Ron Rivera and bring in somebody from Carolina to get reunited and make it feel so good. The third option would be the Niners. And the only problem with the Niners is none of their running backs can stay healthy. So he would definitely be an option for them. So that's how I see it folding out right now. What about you, man?
Are you giving up a first round pick for him? Because I think the price tag is going to be too high.
No running back's worth a first round pick. You don't even draft. This past year, the last 2 years, you haven't drafted a running back in the first round. So why would I give up a first rounder for him? At best, my guess, I'm gonna call fourth. I'm gonna call it fourth in a conditional maybe. But running backs don't hold value like that. So
no, not anymore.
I just don't see it being a situation where I wouldn't give a 2 or 3. His name is good.
Yeah,
you don't know when that hamstring will go.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I can't think of the last time you had a dominant running back that had a long career, Hall of Fame career, that was picked in the first round. Like, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Thurman Thomas, those guys come to mind, but that's 30 years ago.
Well, you got Curtis Martin was the first rounder.
Okay.
He's in there. LT.
Curtis, my favorite Martian. LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yep.
I'll never call him LT because the real LT wore 56 and played in New York.
Okay. I'll let you have that. Every man's got a mountain and a hill they want down one.
But you realize that we went from running backs being this hot commodity in the first round because you had to have the next game-changing running back. People used to pick running backs first overall. You had your Earl Campbells, your Ricky Bells, and for those that don't know about Ricky Bell was an animal before his health took over. And I don't mean on-field health. He had an autoimmune disease that took his life. But they called him the next O.J. Simpson at USC. He was that much of a beast. Who else did we have? Of course, I said Emmitt, Thurman Thomas, Barry Sanders. We don't have first round talent we have first round talent as running backs, but they are so, I don't want to say undervalued, but they're just not hot commodities like they used to be. And somebody's going to offer up a first round pick to get Christian McCaffrey if they really need him. And I wouldn't. That's why I asked y'all, because I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not giving up a first.
No, you don't.
You can get this fourth. You can get this third, maybe. That's probably about high as I go.
4, 5.
We'll see. All right, we got 3 games to get to on the docket. First game, 1:00 hour. The Ravens versus the Giants. And the line for that is Ravens 5.5-point favorites. Over under is 45.5. We're going to start with the Swamp Queen yet again. Give us your thoughts and your picks on this. Then we'll finish up with the Midnight Rider.
So, got the Ravens and the Giants. Their history is impeccable. I love their history. Like, even though they meet up like every 4 years or so. My favorite game with them was 2001 Super Bowl in 2001, where they knocked them, where the Ravens completely demolished them, 34-7. It's like, what the fuck? So I know that's 20 years ago, and everything's changed, but I'm definitely gonna Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I'm a Lamar fan, so I'm gonna take him. Um, take him in the Ravens or the Giants. Because I can't think of their 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 running back. It's
Saquon.
Saquon. There we go. Saquon finna just run all over. And just see what happens. But I'm definitely taking the Ravens in this. Um, we're gonna take the 5.5 with them. I'm actually getting about 10 more. So definitely taking the Ravens with this.
So
Uh,
I think I think this game has an interesting back storyline. The Giants defensive coordinator is Wink Martindale, who used to be the Ravens defensive coordinator. If you've watched this Giants team on tape or any breakdown, the Giants come out and they hit you in the mouth, no holds barred. So it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a dog fight. So in this scenario, I think the under would be the better scenario for this. I just don't know who's gonna run the ball for Baltimore outside of Lamar. I know Dobbins is back, but he hasn't had that big run yet. And then with the Giants, you have Saquon, who's second in all-purpose yards right now. He's either first or second in all-purpose yards. So the Giants have been moving the ball, but they still have Daniel Jones. So my pick is the Ravens. Now I'll say they cover, so they'll get the 5.5. So it'll be probably like a 2013 ball game.
Oh,
Good old shootout.
You're not feeling under this week, Ben?
I did say under. I said under.
Good old shootout, 20-13, man. It's gonna come down to last play. Of course, I'm taking the Ravens in this one. I think Lamar will get on track because he's been consistent, but the team has been up and down. Games they should have won, the Miami game, the Buffalo game, those two games that the Ravens should have won. This is not going to be a game that's left to chance. They have a great coaching staff. And I think that's one thing about Baltimore. And Sharon, you talked about their history. That's one thing that Baltimore has always had. They've always had great coaching staffs. You know, from Ted Marchibroda, and that was historic that he came back to coach the Ravens. From Marchibroda to Billick to Harbaugh. You know, and I think, ain't that the only three coaches they've had in their whole entire existence? Wow. Damn, you go from history to Super Bowl to Super Bowl. You know, I'm not saying that they the Steelers, but damn it, they in contention every year. So, I'll take the Ravens on this one. I think they'll beat the Giants, but I think they'll beat them a little bit more handily. I'll take the over, and I'll call it 28-20 Ravens. So, I'm hoping Lamar really goes off because I got him in fantasy. So I'm really, really selfish with that. I got him in fantasy. Next game is in the 4:00 hour. Bills versus Chiefs. The Boss BJ's Bills versus the Chiefs, who's a thorn in their side as of right now. The Bills are 2.5-point favorites. Over under is 53.5, and all of these lines are brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, FanDuel. So start with the Midnight Rider, and we'll move over to the Lady C. So let's get it.
He got the mute button.
Oh, got myself that time. So the Bills coming in hot. The Chiefs, though, the 4 touchdowns in one ball game. Travis Kelce, have a day, young fella. Have a day. Patrick Mahomes seems like he can get out of everything. Josh Allen and Diggs is a formidable team. And then Gabriel Davis is coming along just fine. I mean, the reason we talked about McCaffrey on this team is just because of the run game. If they get any kind of running back, the Bills are probably one of the best teams in this league. And then if they can get some health on the defensive side. With all that being said, this is definitely an over game for me. And that -2.5 is really sticking in my craw. I would almost want to buy it up to 3 and take the Chiefs in 3. So that way, if it ends up being a 3-point ball game, at worst case scenario, I get a push. So that's how I would handle that situation. Lady C.
Well, okay, so both these teams are 4-1, I believe. And this is a big AFC showdown for them. It's one of their divisional games. It's always going to be a big one whenever they go head up. You got Mahomes, who's on my fantasy, so definitely take him. What? I like him. He's a good kid. Like he has the ability to sneak it in. Like you can see the penalties, you can see stuff, and they don't call it. Like because he sneaks it in. Like even the commentators are not calling it because he's that sneaky with it. So he can get away with it. Travis Kelce, like you say, Ben, have your day. Is going to see, but I'm definitely going to take the Chiefs in this one. Sorry, BJ, but I got to take the Chiefs with this because I got the Bills. They're going to start out strong. They're going to start out strong, and then somewhere in the middle, they're going to start wavering, which is really going to cost them. It's going to be a close game, most definitely. But yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs in this one. KG, what you got?
I'm gonna say this, and I believe this with everything in my being. What the boss BJ says, it don't matter if you beat the Chiefs in the regular season. You could beat the Chiefs by 99 points in the regular season as a Bills, as a Bills organization, as a Bills team. You could beat them by 99 points. Don't mean nothing because when you face them in the playoffs, you need to beat them by 99 again. So this is a playoff matchup, and really and truly, it's a good game, yes, but I think it's a throwaway. I think the Bills need to figure out, okay, we didn't know everything that they do, and they need to systematically and unequivocally break the shit down out of the Chiefs because they got to figure out what they do best. And then when they switch and say, okay, you stop that, we got this, they need to figure that out because when you're going to see them again down the road. And the Bills don't run for no rep. So you're going to see them again. But I'm going to take the Bills in this one, but only by 3. 34-31, Bills over Chiefs. I'm taking the over. I just want a good game, I don't want my brother blowing a gasket over this game either. So, but Bills over Chiefs, give me that.
Hope he got his blood pressure.
I hope he got it checked. Oh man, I think I deleted my daggone banner. Now we gotta come up. We gotta come up to
Cowboys Eagles.
Yeah. Which I'm calling game of the week, but I called the game of the week, and it seemed like everybody thinks I'm a Cowboy fan. I am nothing of the sort. I do not like the Cowboys. I can't stand the team, to be honest.
It just seems like
that's your boy.
You have so much passion for the Cowboys at times.
Okay, let me explain something.
Just saying.
Hold on, let me explain something. This is what happens around here. When it comes to the first 8-9 weeks of the season, I'm picking the Cowboys to win every game because that's what they do. And they fall into the trap every year. September, October, maybe the first half of November, they'll win all the games they supposed to win. Like, I was going through my Facebook memories and I was talking to Cowboy fans. I said, see, everything that I said to you the first 5-6 weeks, y'all told me I was a hater. You were running around, you're beating doormats, you're looking good. And I said, you're beating doormats. These are teams you're supposed to beat. You can't celebrate wins and teams you're supposed to beat. You say, all right, we got the W, walk the hell out, you go get on the bus. When you come in and you got to face the Kansas Cities, you have to face the San Franciscos, the Rams. You got to face the top teams in the league, the Kansas Cities, and you don't do anything against them, or you barely put up any type of numbers. Then you say, "Well, oh, the refs cheated." You do it every year. You can't play doormats, get fat off doormats, and then say, "Oh yeah, we them boys. We going to the Super Bowl." You're getting fat off of doormats. Now, if you got doormats all season long, okay, have at it. But if you have to play some real competition, you're not going anywhere. Every year I say the same thing. Yes, you're 5-1, you're 4-1, but you have not arrived yet. Today is Dallas's first test, and they are 6.5-point favorites, I believe you got, Ben.
Yep. No, the Eagles are 6.5 favorites.
Okay. Eagles are 6.5, 42.5 is the over-under. Dallas has not arrived yet. I'm going to throw my pick out there now. Eagles will win this game running away. Cooper Rush will lose his first game. Lady C, have at it.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. Like, Eagles are at home. This is a home game for them. So, and Eagles are what, 5-0, if I believe. They haven't lost yet. So, and you know, Cooper Rush, he's getting that big head, you know, because Dak is still out. So the bus is for Rush right now. And they're really pulling for him, but no, they on the road. They gonna drop this one. Rush is going to get his hiney spanked this time. I'm not saying it's not gonna be it'll be a good game. I think I may actually glance at it in between. Set up on my stats to go off in my notifications. But I already see the Eagles in this. You know, you got CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys. He still has his hip injury. So what is he going to do? Is he going to play? That's a question. You got this child, Ezekiel Elliott. What is he going to do with his halter top?
Leave midriff alone.
Look here, I've never seen a man just so openly in a halter top without being straight. I'm just saying. But you know, okay. Yes, you're gonna get that from me, and Ben, you got to come behind me. So I'm pulling for the Eagles. Everything for the Eagles. I get Eagles in 10. So, Ben, what you got?
I think this is actually gonna be a pretty interesting defensive ball game. And I say that from the standpoint of when you watch the Cowboys, Donovan Wilson, Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence all jump out at you every time. Every film breakdown I've seen Baldy do, every time I've watched the game, those three guys flash. And on the other side for the Eagles, the big monster in the middle, Jordan Davis is starting to wreck shop. You got the corner Slay and company, and then their linebacker core is better, but it's just I think Dallas has the advantage at linebacker, but they have the advantage in the secondary. And I might be saying that wrong. It might be even in the secondary when I start thinking about it. But Dan Quinn has done an amazing thing and has made this Dallas defense very fast. They're fast everywhere, and they're dogs getting to the football. The Eagles, they're fast everywhere. Like, this is one of those matchups where if you can get your run game going downhill and punch people in the mouth with the run game, oh, God, I sound like KG. But if you can go run it downhill with either Pollard or Miles Sanders, I think that's going to be the difference maker in this ball game. So with that being said, I'm taking the Eagles, and I'm going to take the over. I think we're going to get in that 28-24 range, maybe 30-24, something like that, to make it a nice, good ball game. but you're going to see a lot of bodies flying. You're going to see a lot of plays being made because these two teams are probably the better two teams in the division right now.
The better two teams in the league, actually, I think.
Nah.
I would have to say, like, I mean, stat wise, record wise, like they're the better two teams. And I don't totally despise love-hate relationship Cowboys like Kevin does. But I will say I appreciate, the consistency of Rush. Like he's definitely not Dak. Either Dak is going to be there in the first half or he's going to be there in the second half. Like Rush is there the entire game. Like so, I can appreciate that consistency with the Cowboys. But yeah, still taking the Eagles in this.
See, Ben, you said something, and I said, the Cowboys got a porous offensive line, and you got Jordan Davis. Like, I think this is gonna be his big coming out party. Like everybody gonna know, damn, that's Jordan Davis. This is gonna be it. Micah Parsons is still MPP. Micah Parsons' problem. That's what I call him. And I like the dude. I like Micah Parsons. After watching him on Hard Knocks, and Dan Quinn was like, all right, you done for the night? He was like, done? Can I go back in, coach? He was like, man, I'm ready to play. You got to save the dude from himself, but that motor, I love that. Like, I was like, okay, this is my guy right here. And, much respect to him. I hate the Star, and I hate that toilet bowl of a stadium. And y'all know my mission in life is to be able to go down there and cop a watery squat right on the middle of that Star. I would love to. That's how much I hate the Cowboys. So, but
okay, so sideline junkies need to start a GoFundMe to get your retarded behind out of jail now.
Nah, let me stay in jail because
I'm
gonna make them give me some Dallas Cowboy toilet paper. I'm gonna eat a lot of fiber that week. But anyway,
so much love for this team.
I don't. The thing is, I got respect for them, but I don't love them. I don't, and the fan base is even worse. It's only maybe one or two, and that's my wife and sideline. One of our other sideline junkies, Gary. They're the only ones that make sense. Most of the rest of them don't make sense. They win one game. We going to the Super Bowl. You ain't sniffed the Super Bowl in almost 27 years. Where you going? Where you going? Off of one game. You can't even get out of the division, but you're going to Super Bowl. So, and you said something about them being, the Eagles and the Cowboys being in two of the top teams. And in the division, I think I wanted to say that I want to see if the Giants are fool's gold. Today will show me if the Giants are fool's gold or are they real. That's what I want to see. I want to
Giants. The Giants do what they're supposed to do. You beat the teams that you're supposed to beat, and if you have the right schedule, sometimes just the way the schedule's laid out, you end up winning 8 or 9 ball games by accident, and that's what they're on pace to do. They're on pace to win about 8 or 9 ball games, just because oops, we beat Tennessee, you beat 3 other teams, and then now going down the stretch, you still got Jacksonville, you still got the Commanders, you still got other teams that are in the way that you probably can be favorite when you play them.
And what's crazy, I said, what if the Commanders win the rest of their division games? Just off of GP, what if they just win the rest of the division games? And it puts them in contention. So just winning the rest of the division games, that's just 6-4 right there. And, it comes down to 2 out of the 4 teams in the NFC East battling for a playoff spot come the last weekend. And we played Dallas the last weekend. And let's say Dallas is number 1 and we got a chance to knock them out of the playoffs. I would love like nothing else to spoil Dallas's offseason by knocking them out of the playoffs. And I mean knocking them out real good. I'm talking about knocking them out like 42-6.
Honestly, if it comes down to it, if Dak is back, I would even let Howell. Wentz can sit out. Wentz can sit out. Heineken can sit out. Hal can take over and knock Dak off.
Man, at that present point, you know, that's the if I'm not mistaken, that's the Sonny Jurgensen jersey retirement. His numbers being retired that weekend, and I'll suit up Sonny and have him darken the sky with 40-yard balls all day long, because nobody threw a better deep ball than Sonny at that time. So, you know, I would have Sonny throwing everything deep. So, we got any final thoughts before we get up out of here? Damn, we did this in record time. Shoot, we on fire this morning. Let's hope it's a good day of football.
Last minute news is looks like T. Higgins, wide receiver for the Bengals, is active. Chris Olave for the Saints is inactive with his concussion, and Kyle Pitts is active. But if you own him in fantasy, you probably already dropped him. So, but that's the guys that are on the bubble right now that they showed that are active and inactive this week.
Okay. It's 11:41 Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you get those fantasy lineups together. Find out who's active, who's not active. Watch your pregame shows. Thank you for joining us. I think that's all we got. So
you don't want to talk about your Yankees?
Talk about which game?
Your Yankees.
No, I do not. I do.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about that at all. It's different with a Yankee loss. Like, I don't care. Any Yankee loss, I'm bitter for a couple days afterwards. Because I'm like, yeah, we could, especially a game that we should have won. This is a best of 5. You can't play around. I'm not used to this. I'm used to going in and handling business, because the ALDS and the ALCS is just a formality. I'm not worried about that because I know we're going to win that. It's just a formality. That's how I'm used to feeling, because I'm used to walking into the World Series. Damn, feels good to be back. Let's take care of business and winning a championship. So,
well, I mean, you got one plus out of it. Roldis Chapman didn't blow a save to get y'all eliminated.
Well, that's true. And then I heard something the other day. Dude said that who's the most overrated player in sports? And he said Derek Jeter. I said, man, if I was near dude right now, I think I'd have lost my job. Don't you ever in your life talk bad about Derek Sanderson Jeter from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Ever. One of the best clutch players of all time. Don't ever talk bad about him. That's fighting words to me. We got to knuckle up. So I'll be knocking on your door soon enough. But we gonna get up out of here. Let's go have some breakfast. Enjoy the morning. Until next time. What was that? You making breakfast? What you making?
No, Ben's cooking. I heard Ben say he was cooking.
I heard you say you were cooking.
My kitchen broke.
I ain't even got my kitchen on me right now. That sound like to me. I ain't even got my kitchen on me right now.
Ben, you up?
Oh, okay. I got you.
Cereal bar? Hey, bet.
Man, we gonna have some peanut butter pancakes. Let's leave it alone. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that though. That sounds pretty good. Even though I want some French toast, some peanut butter pancakes don't seem bad. Okay, let's get up out of here. We don't do no overtime. We are out of here.